Okay, we are looking at Titus chapter 2, and we're focusing on what does good leadership, what is the purpose of it? So in this case, we're going to start off with identifying what was the main idea. Like if you were to pick one word that would summarize the whole chapter, what would it be? I chose good works as I went through because that seemed to be the focus. However, there's a good argument that grace is perhaps the actual key thought and how it affects us and it results in good works. Both are valid. We also want to make sure that we understand it. And to do that, I summarize the entire chapter. I normally do this by creating one sentence for every single paragraph to help me remember what is the flow of the idea going through the entire chapter. In this case, I put down, teach what accords with sound doctrine. Show yourself to be a model of good works. In your teaching, show integrity that cannot be condemned. The grace of God has appeared, training us to renounce ungodliness and to live godly lives, waiting for the appearing of the glory of God, our Savior, Jesus Christ. Declare these things. And those are words just from the chapter. I, of course, am reading from the ESV. You can use different translations, but that's where, if you're trying to check my work, look it up in the ESV, English Standard Version. Next, I do a statement. So the first one is the summary, which is like God asking me, what did I say? Using only his words. The second statement, the statement is, what did he say in my own words? God displayed his grace to us, training us to display grace through good works towards others. That's my statement. One sentence for the entire chapter. And then what questions come up? How do we become the people of God? What is the purpose of good leadership? And I see in this that Paul is telling Titus that he's supposed to be on display before all the other believers, displaying good works, showing how the love of God, the love of Jesus has transformed him, and that he should display the qualities of a godly man before others so that they have an example as they follow Christ. So that is the purpose of leadership. They set an example and they pursue Christ in their own lives so that others can also pursue Christ. And if you have a leader that constantly veers off the path and causes people to be misled, leading them into sin, that is a leader to avoid. But if you find someone, whether they have a leader title or not, if they have a life that points people to Jesus Christ, that is a person to follow as you follow Christ. Draw in closer. And as they live a godly life, that will also rub off on you, and you will live a more godly life. And that's the purpose of leadership in the church. So at this point, just a closing prayer. And sometimes prayers don't sound like the Lord's Prayer, like from the book of Matthew or Luke. Sometimes they're just a conversation. And so this time I wrote down, often I have thoughts of grace as something I benefit from, not as something that flows through me for the benefit of others. Here we're told that God's grace is training us to be zealous for good works. God's intent is that we respond to his grace, not just receive it. We are blessed to be a blessing. May we all grow in our understanding of the gifts of grace that we have been given. May you be blessed.